The weekend brought a wave of excitement, tension, and unforgettable football moments that had fans on the edge of their seats across Europe. The energy inside every stadium was electric as the world's biggest clubs clashed for dominance, leaving behind a trail of drama, passion, and pure sporting brilliance. From Manchester to Madrid, from Paris to Milan, football once again reminded everyone why it's the most beloved game on the planet. The air was filled with chants, flags waving in the stands, and the unmistakable pulse of supporters who lived for these moments. Every pass, every tackle, and every goal told a story of dedication and rivalry that stretched far beyond the 90 minutes. The Premier League weekend began with Manchester United facing Arsenal in a battle that carried both pride and pressure. United, desperate to regain their consistency, entered the match with fire, while Arsenal looked determined to prove they were real title contenders. The opening minutes were fast and fierce, with both sides pressing high, testing each other's composure. Bruno Fernandes tried to dictate the tempo, threading passes into space for Rashford and Højlund, but Arsenal's defensive duo of Gabriel and Saliba stood firm. Declan Rice was a wall in midfield, breaking up attacks and starting counters with effortless control. Arsenal's breakthrough came from a moment of brilliance by Bukayo Saka, who curled in a beauty from the edge of the box after a slick 1-2 with Odegaard. The away fans erupted, their red smoke flares painting the sky. United responded with heart, a stunning equaliser from Garnacho, who cut in from the left and drilled a low shot past Ramsdale. The match ended level, but Arsenal's control and fluidity left the feeling that they had dominated the field, even if the score didn't show it. At Anfield, Liverpool met Newcastle in a game filled with energy and unpredictability. The crowd was roaring as the teams walked out under the floodlights, the kind of atmosphere that makes English football unique. Newcastle struck first through Alexander Isak, who capitalized on a defensive lapse to put the visitors ahead. But Liverpool, led by the relentless Mohamed Salah, turned up the intensity. Salah's equalizer was pure class, a composed finish after a rapid counterattack orchestrated by Mac Allister and Darwin Núñez. The momentum shifted completely in Liverpool's favor as the game wore on, with waves of attacks pouring in. Trent Alexander-Arnold delivered crosses that forced Newcastle's defense into panic mode. The decisive moment came in the final 10 minutes when Núñez met a perfect delivery and powered a header into the net. Anfield erupted. The Red Sea of fans jumped and shouted in unison. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Liverpool had found their rhythm again, and on this night, they dominated every inch of the pitch. Over in London, Chelsea faced Aston Villa in a contest that was all about proving progress. Chelsea's young side, filled with new signings and fresh talent, had been under pressure to perform, and this game was their chance. Villa came in confident, but Chelsea started strong with Enzo Fernandez controlling the midfield and Raheem Sterling darting forward with intent. The breakthrough came when Cole Palmer converted a precise penalty after a handball incident, his calmness under pressure reflecting a maturity beyond his years. Villa tried to fight back, with Ollie Watkins leading the line, but Chelsea's defense, marshalled by Thiago Silva, stood tall. Late in the second half, Mykhailo Mudryk sealed the victory with a stunning strike from distance, sending the Stamford Bridge crowd into wild celebration. Chelsea's young core finally clicked, and their performance sent a message that the Blues were slowly finding their way back to top form. In Spain, the Santiago Bernabéu hosted another night of footballing artistry as Real Madrid faced Sevilla. Madrid's dominance was on full display from the first whistle. Jude Bellingham, the young English star who has taken La Liga by storm, once again stole the spotlight. His energy, control, and intelligence made him the heartbeat of Madrid's midfield. He opened the scoring with a precise finish after a beautiful setup from Vinicius Jr. Sevilla tried to hold on, but Madrid's relentless pressure made it impossible. Toni Kroos dictated the rhythm like a maestro, while Rodrigo's pace on the right flank created constant danger. The second goal came from an unexpected source, defender Antonio Rudiger, who headed home from a corner. The Bernabéu roared with approval. By the final whistle, Real Madrid had completely outclassed Sevilla, both in possession and in confidence. The performance showed that the Spanish giants remain untouchable when they play with freedom and belief. In Italy, Serie A offered its own version of drama as Inter Milan met Juventus in the Derby d'Italia. The rivalry, fierce as ever, brought tension to every touch of the ball. Inter, under Simone Inzaghi, looked sharper and more composed, with Barella and Calhanoglu controlling the midfield battle. Juventus tried to respond through Federico Chiesa's pace on the wings, but Inter's defense, led by Acerbi and Bastoni, refused to crack. The deadlock broke in the second half when Lautaro Martinez, ever the predator, found space between two defenders and fired home a stunning goal. The San Siro exploded in celebration, the echo of cheers shaking the old structure. Juventus pressed late, but Onana's saves kept Inter ahead. As the final whistle blew, the Nerazzurri celebrated a win that not only gave them 3 points but reaffirmed their place at the top of Italian football. The unity, control, and relentless energy showed why they were the dominant force this weekend in Serie A. Meanwhile, in France, Paris Saint-Germain hosted Lyon in what was expected to be a routine victory. However, the match turned into a masterclass of attacking football from PSG's star-studded lineup. Kylian Mbappé was unstoppable, moving with the confidence of a player who knows the game bends to his will. His first goal came in typical Mbappé fashion, a burst of speed, a feint, and a calm finish into the bottom corner. Ousmane Dembélé added another with a curling strike that sent the Parc des Princes into a frenzy. Lyon never truly recovered, and PSG controlled the match like a team rehearsing for a highlight reel. The final scoreline read 3-0, but it could have been more. Every pass, every move felt deliberate and effortless. PSG's message was clear: when their stars shine, few teams in Europe can match their brilliance. Elsewhere, Bayern Munich continued the dominant Bundesliga run with a convincing victory over Borussia Dortmund in Der Klassiker. The Allianz Arena was buzzing as the two German giants faced off. Harry Kane, Bayern's new talisman, was the star of the show, scoring twice and assisting another. His link-up play with Leroy Sané and Jamal Musiala was breathtaking. Dortmund struggled to keep up with Bayern's pace and precision. By half-time, the home side led 3-0, and the game was practically sealed. The second half was more of the same, controlled, confident, and ruthless football from the champions. Bayern's dominance in Germany remains unmatched, and their performance this weekend proved why they are considered one of the most complete teams in Europe. Across Europe, smaller clubs also had their moment of glory. Real Sociedad earned a hard-fought win over Villarreal thanks to a late goal by Mikel Oyarzabal, sending their fans into a frenzy. In the Premier League, Brentford shocked Tottenham with a 2-1 victory, showcasing the unpredictability that makes football so thrilling. Even in the Portuguese league, Benfica's young star João Neves scored a late winner that kept their title hopes alive. Everywhere you looked, football was alive with stories of triumph and heartbreak. The weekend wasn't just about goals and victories, it was about moments that defined teams and players. The confidence of Arsenal's midfield, the composure of Bellingham in Spain, the determination of Lautaro in Italy, and the flair of Mbappé in France, each represented a different kind of dominance. Football is not always about the scoreline, sometimes, it's about who controls the tempo, who dictates the rhythm, and who makes the game their own. This weekend, those players did exactly that. As the dust settled and fans returned home, the discussions continued: who really dominated the field? Some pointed to Real Madrid's elegance, others to Liverpool's intensity, while a few couldn't look past Bayern's sheer power. In truth, every league had its own masterclass, every match its own hero. That's what makes football the beautiful game. It's not just about winning, it's about how you play, how you fight, and how you inspire. From Manchester to Madrid, from Paris to Milan, this weekend reminded everyone that passion, skill, and heart are what truly dominate the field. And as fans look forward to the next round of fixtures, one thing is certain: football never stops giving us reasons to believe in magic.